There are 6 life categories to focus on if you want to make 2025 your best year yet. Today, I'm going to hike the Ouray Perimeter Trail around Ouray, Colorado, this town here in the bottom of this beautiful canyon. And I'm going to talk about what those 6 things are. And the first stop is a waterfall in the Uncompahgre Gorge right up here. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about what that first category is once we get there. See you up there. All right, so it's a little loud down here for narration in the video, so we're gonna go to the bridge above the canyon up there, and I'll do my little talk up there for about the first category. It's pretty cool down here though, huh? Let's see you up there. All right, so that was a pretty cool gorge. The first life category to focus on, I call it survival, but what does that mean nowadays? Survival is anything that sustains your physical life. For a lot of us, that means working a job. It's like the errands we need to run that make our life happen nowadays. So like getting groceries, going to the doctor if you have to. Back in ancient human history, this was like hunting, making your shelter for the winter. Nowadays, that's like, paying the bills, keeping the heat on in the winter, paying rent, buying your food. And to do that, a lot of us need to work a job or have other income streams. So that's easier for some people and harder for others. Some people, our job may be an extreme source of stress, and it makes it also a massive amount of time commitment that it makes it really hard to focus on other life categories that I'll talk about later in this video. But that can be a challenge. So we need to have a good relationship with what we do to maintain our survival. So if we have a job that we hate, it drains us, that makes us negative, we either need to change our mindset about that and suck it up for a little bit, and or find another job, switch fields, or start our own business and find a way to maintain your survival that works for us. So survival is an extremely important one, and that can go a lot of different ways. But it's an important thing. It takes a lot of our time. Unfortunately, it can take a ton of time, and it drains our energy to focus on other things in life that would fulfill us and make us happier to have a better year. But having a good relationship with what you do for survival is important. For a lot of us, that might mean optimizing what we do for survival so that it doesn't take so much time, so that we or energy, so that we have time and focus and energy to devote to other things. A lot of times that might just take a mindset shift or a habit shift, and that can improve our relationship with what we do to keep ourselves surviving. But that's an important thing to focus on. So if you have any struggles in that regard, instead of like looking at it through this negative window or like complaining, that's not going to get you anywhere. Like, oh, it's so hard because I just have no other time to like work out or work on my creative project. I have no time for a side hustle or to do a side hustle well. That's been my struggle with that. I think you can focus on what you can control and make a better mindset for yourself in what you do. And if you can believe that there's a better way, if what you're doing now is not the best way, if you believe there's a better way to maintain your survival, you can start taking steps towards that. Small steps over time pays off big time. So that is the first life category to focus on. And you can go down a lot of wormholes. Maybe I'll make videos about each one of these categories later on, but right now I just want to give you an overview of each one, and then you can decide for yourself where you need to place the most focus right now or what you can do to improve. If you're someone that has your survival covered because you make a great income and your job doesn't wear you out and you have time and energy to focus on other things, I wouldn't settle into that and become idle. That can become a trap. There's always something we can do to improve ourselves or help other people improve their situations as well. And there might be something that gives you even more fulfillment than what you do right now for making resources for your survival. So there's a lot to think about there. I encourage you to reflect on that for yourself. I will be making a journal about these things. If you want to check it out and sign up for my newsletter to get updates about that, there's a link in the description. So that's life category number 1. Let's go to the next part of the trail. I'll find another beautiful spot to narrate life category number 2, and I'll see you over there. The second life category to make 2025 or any year your best year yet is your physical health. This follows up number 1, your survival, because once you can provide for yourself food and nourishment and a shelter and kind of keep sicknesses at bay and do your day-to-day chores, then you have the next luxury to maintain your physical health and actually improve it. And if you don't do this well, you'll have ailments that come up. It might just be like soreness in your back, like a perpetual soreness. Your stress gets stored in your muscles, and that stress can then affect other elements of your life. If you don't have great physical health, that can affect other emotional components of your life. It can affect how you react and handle other elements of your life and these other life categories that I'm going to talk about later in this video as well. Physical health is different for everyone. Some people might need to lose weight. Some people might want to put on some more muscle. Some people might want to just eat healthier. Some people might want to just get outside more and build their stamina. So it's different for everyone, but I think having some physical routine to do throughout your week and every day is great, even if it's just like a walk. That makes a huge difference. Studies have shown that's really beneficial for your health to just get out and walk and get fresh air, and it is some exercise. I like to get out and hike in nature. Clearly I'm on a hike right now, and doing this at higher elevations is good. It gets my heart rate up. It helps my blood oxygen levels. It regulates being able to get oxygen with less oxygen in the air, and it just keeps me active. But I also try to do physical body weight workouts. I like to do those a lot. They're quick. I can get them done fast, but my issue is I'm not that consistent with them. And when I'm not, I start to develop, pain and tightness in certain areas of my body. And when I get stressed about things, it makes it worse. And I've had this bad habit lately where I've been trying to build my online business, exploring different options for different offers, ways to create content and all that. But sometimes I don't let myself work out or even just stretch until I get the work done. And I don't think that's a great mindset. I think if you do a little stretching before your work, maybe a quick body weight workout or a little bit with dumbbells, some pull-ups, if you got a pull-up bar in your house, or some band work. And even doing that as breaks through your work is something I'm trying to work on, because I think it'll help me regulate my stress better. So in addition to getting out on hikes and snowboarding in the winter more, I'm also trying to do that and do more yoga and workouts. Ooh, there's a little snowfall over there off the cliff. Glad I wasn't under it when it happened. Your physical health is really important, and having at least some good physical health is going to help you regulate your emotions when you pursue these other life categories that I'm about to talk about. But even when I just get like a sore back, literally doing like 6-minute abs or 7-minute abs. There's one I like by Jeff Cavalier, Athlean X. And literally it's done in 7 minutes. It's intense, but over in 7 minutes. And it like takes the pain out of my back. Like if I just do this core, and it makes a huge difference. And then I feel like I can tackle working on something else after that a lot better. So physical health is number 2. Let's continue on the hike. We're almost to the edge of town, where we're gonna cross town and then go up on the other side. And yeah, we're gonna circle town on the other side. So we'll get to number 3 at the next stop. right, so we're gonna do a little walk and talk here. The third life category that you need to focus on to make a better 2025 or any year is your relationships. And there's a lot of different kinds of relationships. There can be friends, family, romantic partners, work relationships, creative relationships, your relationship with yourself, your pets, your dog, your cat, your pet parakeet. There's a lot of relationships, but having healthy relationships and the ability to communicate is incredibly important for making sure you have a healthy relationship with yourself. Excuse me, I'm getting winded here. All right, so if you have bad relationships with someone, that's clearly a problem that's going to cause stress in the rest of your life and make it more difficult to accomplish other life goals. It's going to be a source of stress, anxiety, it's going to drag you down, so you don't want that. So if that's a problem, that's a life category that you need to address and work on, and it comes down to healthy communication. You don't need to agree with everyone. I think understanding people where they're coming from is huge and will make a massive difference. They also say things like hang around people that have the same goals as you, that have the same habits. So if you're like not trying to drink as much or go out as much as you used to, but you still have friends that do, some people will like cut those friends out and just like hang out with new people and have new friends because they don't want those influences. And that's important to work on your goals and change the level of influence. I think sometimes the diversity can be good and it will lessen your judgments and reactions to people when you encounter people of different perspective than you or with different habits. Also, there can be good influence from people with different lifestyles than you and different mindsets and views and goals, and you might learn something that you didn't know or wouldn't learn from hanging out with the same kind of people. And I don't necessarily mean hanging out like your weekly habits, whatever, but like interacting with different kinds of people from different walks of life is good. Here's my dog. Hi. You coming to check on me? I'm coming. Doing a walk and talk, out of breath. Hopefully everyone doesn't hear how hard I'm breathing, but getting that physical health side in, you know, number 2. But yeah, having healthy relationships is really important, and it can drag you down and cause blockages in other areas if you don't have healthy relationships. If you're struggling in that area, don't hesitate to do what you can to improve those relationships. And healthy relationships make way for a better relationship with yourself, healthier relationship with yourself, and the ability to accomplish more of your own personal goals. So I'm gonna keep walking. We'll talk about the 4th category at the next stop. There's supposed to be some waterfalls up here, and could be a good spot to talk about number 4. Let's go check it out. All right, so the 4th life category to focus on, and this one is in sequence after the last 3. Once you have those last 3 healthy, or at least somewhat able to be maintained without total anxiety or whatever, this one is what comes next, and that is play. We need play, we need recreation, we need to have fun. That's what we're born to do. So like if you were living in the caveman days, the first thing you'd want to do is your survival. You would want to get food and shelter and stay warm. Put a buffalo hide around you, a mammoth hide. You got that down. Next up, you'd maintain your physical health. You'd do chores around home once you know, putting away the meat, building more shelter, moving rocks, making a rock wall, maybe lifting boulders above your head to keep that strength up. Grooming, that was your physical health maintenance, right? And then you had relationships, so then you interact with your tribe, your pack, whatever. And then when all those things were kind of taken care of, you would play. You would literally play games or go laugh, tell stories around the fire. And it's just as important today as it was throughout all of human history. So if you are taking care of your survival. You're working a job, you're doing your chores, you're paying your bills, you are getting outside, working on your body a little bit, you are having relationships, you're communicating with your friends, family, loved ones, and your work relationships. You're doing all that, you need to also get out and recreate. You need to have fun. And that's can be a million different things for different people. Sometimes for me, it's fun to work on things. The next two life categories after this can be perceived as play, but also it really comes down to recreation. I like to get out on hikes. I like to explore. I like to snowboard. I like to play the guitar sometimes. That's play to me. Go interact with people, play. Some people like to play a sport. Some people like to play games with their friends. Some people play video games. That can be fun too. I also encourage other forms of play. But even going outside and playing fetch with your dog, it's play. It's so important. We absolutely need play in our lives. It releases the tension from the stresses that build up from accomplishing those other three things. And yeah, it just reminds us about how much joy there can be in life. That is incredibly important when you're trying to live a healthy, fulfilling life. So remember to play and have fun. This can become very addicting, and that can cause delay or postponement of other life categories to focus on. If you become too addicted to it, or if you only play as a form of escape, that can become dangerous. But a good healthy dose of play, I mean, ideally every day some form of play is ideal. But even if you're working long days, you got big goals and plans, you got to remember to get out and just have some fun, whatever that means to you. So if you're not having enough fun in your life, this should be the easiest one to do. Get out there, have fun. Play and recreation helps you forget about the stresses of all these other things that you might be working on. So it's an important one. You release the tension, the stress of it, and then you get right back to it when you come back. Some of my best, most productive work comes after I have gone and recreated. So I'm turning up my ISO because the light changed on me. It's one of the problems with shooting outside is the light changes so much. Just a little bit of cloud cover can make you have to change your camera settings. But anyway, yeah, play. Incredibly important. Don't forget it. So I'm going to continue on the hike. We're going to traverse a couple little ridges through the forest and in the snow. It's getting colder now because the sun's behind a little layer of cloud. But the next spot is called, I think it's called the baby bathtubs or the bathtubs. And it's just like these pools embedded in the stone that a stream flows through. And I guess they kind of look like bathtubs. So I'll talk about the fifth thing over there. So don't forget to play and have fun. Let's go talk at the bathtubs about the fifth category. So I don't know if you guys noticed in the last scene, but my sunglasses lost one of the lenses. It was on the shadow side of my face, so you only saw it at select moments. And looking out of it, it's like it plays a trick on your brain. Like with one side in, you can't really tell. It's like your brain must like optimize for this eye's vision instead. But I came back over here and I just found it on the ground, and I'm gonna try to pop it back in. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it's in the next scene or not. It's kind of funny. All right, so this is the baby bathtub area. I think it's just these little pockets of water in this stone here, in this stream bed made of stone. There's these little pockets that are kind of like bathtubs, but this water's freezing right now. I think I might come back in the summer and try to soak in some of these pools when it's a little warmer out, and the water's a lot warmer. But this water's cool looking. It's like chocolate milk. It's got all this dirt and sediment in it because it's melting in the mountains above it, and it's just washing all the sediment into the water and makes it look like chocolate milk. But probably wouldn't taste that good to drink it. So the fifth life category to focus on after you have got your survival, physical health maintenance down, your relationships, and a level of play. Those things don't have to be perfect, but once you have those things down, it is then good practice to work on what I call mental fitness. So mental fitness is the fifth life category. And mental fitness is anything that challenges your brain. As you get older, you don't want your brain to decay. It will decay on its own, and if you don't have another way to challenge your brain and work it out, just like you work out your body in your physical fitness, your brain needs that too. It's gonna keep you more clever, it's gonna keep you healthier, your brain's gonna function better, and I think it's gonna keep stress levels down too. So we need something to keep learning. A lot of people will get a good job or have their money figured out, they'll have healthy relationships, they'll have their fitness down, they'll have a good level of play in their life, and then they just stop there. And they kind of stop learning, and that can cause problems with your brain later in life, like Alzheimer's. I heard something that if you actually have second languages practice, if you know multiple languages or bilingual or learn another language, it can help prevent Alzheimer's and things like that. But anything like that, a skill to learn is going to go a long way in keeping you happy and healthy. This can be a lot of different things depending on your interests, but reading, I strongly recommend reading. Everyone should read until they die, as long as you can. Old people, that's like the only thing you can do in the old folks home is read. Keep reading, it's gonna keep you sharp, it's gonna keep you clever. A lot of people like to listen to podcasts. You can learn a lot of things on podcasts. Studying things on YouTube, there's a lot of things you can learn, new skills you can learn in life. You need something to keep your brain busy and keep your brain working out. I do strongly recommend learning another language. Learning business skills and trying to find some side hustle, or even turning a side hustle into your main income stream, is a great thing to learn as well. And just finding ways to communicate your passions, that all fits into the mental fitness category. So keep learning, stay sharp, don't let your brain get complacent even if the rest of your life is cozy and taken care of. It's great to keep learning your whole life long. People finish college with like a degree and they're like, oh, I'm done learning, I got my job, I'm good. It's like, no, you want to be a lifelong learner, and that's just going to make life so much more fulfilling and give you so much more opportunity to grow and live a rich, fulfilling life. So keep learning, keep your mental fitness going. I highly recommend it. So I'm going to continue on the trail. I'm almost done. We've circled the town like 3/4 of the way. This is just the final circuit. We're actually on the edge of town now, and we go up over this rise a little bit, and then we're going to cross the highway and end up at the ice climbing park. And then the trail takes us down to the bridge where I crossed earlier in the day after after the waterfall. And somewhere along the way, I'll find a spot to talk about the sixth life category. Sorry, I did this in the beginning of the video. The sixth life category to focus on. And all of these build toward this last thing that I'm going to talk about. So let's see you on up the trail. So the sixth life category that you should focus on to have a better year in 2025, or any year whenever you're doing this, is creative ritual. What do I mean by that? Creative ritual is the act of practicing something sacred, the act of creation. And this doesn't need to be something that brings you resources necessarily. It doesn't need to be something big and grand. It can literally just be a habit that brings you joy and allows you to be a happy individual and share all of your lessons and struggles in some form of expression with your habit, with your habit of creativity. This could be practicing music. That's another good one for mental fitness. If you learn an instrument, that's a great one to do. But the act of practicing and learning new things and just the habit of showing up to do these things. Music's a great one. Writing, journaling. In fact, I think everyone should journal. That's creative ritual. If you journal every day, every couple days, at least every week, making a habit of writing down how you feel, what struggles and challenges you're working on, what you're overcoming, the progress you've made, the progress you still want to make. These are incredibly powerful things, and these are all creative ritual. This can also be sharing a meal, creating a beautiful meal and having it with friends, and that's part of your relationships. That can be part of your play. All of these categories can intermingle and serve each other, and in essence, if you practice all 6 of these things and work on them, you're going to have a much more holistic approach to your lifestyle and living a happier, more fulfilling life. So creative ritual, highly important. This is can be the hardest one to do because at the end of the day, after you've taken care of your survival, paying the bills and getting food on the table, maybe you've done your physical fitness or you've gotten outside for a walk, maybe then you've seen family, friends, loved ones, had a little bit of social interaction, played together, a bit of reading or learning a new skill. At the end of the day, to go and do more, it can be really hard. But it doesn't need to be a lot. It can be as simple as just 5 to 10 minutes in the morning when you wake up. At the end of the day, gratitude journals are really good. Write something down in the morning and then at the end of the day that you're grateful for. These all can be creative rituals. This can also be as simple as lighting some candles and meditating. Like that can be a creative ritual because you're manifesting the creation of your well-being, of your essence, and integrating all of these things that you've been working on in all of these categories. And yeah, I just think that we need to set time aside to show up and do something creative, have a ritual where we can integrate all the information and assimilate everything that we are becoming and working on and working towards. So that sums up all 6 of the life categories that I think you should work on in 2025 or whatever year that you're watching this and working on it to live a more fulfilling and happier life. I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to the stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that we tell others that make us happy. If there's something that we're complaining about in any of those 6 categories or a problem that we have that we're not overcoming or working towards overcoming, that can affect the story that we tell. And then if we think something negative, that ripples out into all the other facets of our life. So we need to be telling ourselves better stories about ourselves and what we're working on, even if there is a struggle or a challenge or something extremely painful. If we have a plan of action and a mindset to work on these things over time and improve them over time, we can make sure that we're a lot happier and better off in the long run. So those are the 6 categories. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, I really am grateful. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more stuff like this. I also talk about how to make videos and share your message online with videos and sometimes with writing. And if you're also interested in learning more about these 6 categories, I am working on a book at the time of this shooting. It may be out depending when you're watching this, but I'm working on a book and a prompted journal called Accomplishing Your Cosmic To-Do List. That's the working title right now. But that cosmic to-do list is doing all the things that you feel you're meant to do in your life and be happier with. And that cosmic to-do list is checking off all of those things that you're meant to do, that your soul is meant to do, that fills you up and makes you happy and enriches your life and others. And if you're interested in checking out the journal to help guide you through keeping track of all these things and work on all these things, I have a link to sign up for my email newsletter, and I'll be giving you updates about the project and letting you know when it's ready. I might do a digital version first, but we'll see. I'll give you updates there. If you want to sign up, go ahead and check that out. The link is in the description. And yeah, feel free to check out any other videos on my channel, and I will be seeing you around on more YouTube videos in the future. I'm gonna go finish this hike. I got a little ways more to go if you want to check it out. Here, I gotta go down there. The trail goes down that away. And let's boost the ISO because it got dark on us. There we go. Yeah, the sun went down. It goes down early in this canyon, but down that way is the trail. And then it crosses the highway down there somewhere and goes into the Ouray Ice Park and down in the canyon, down in that canyon. You can't quite see it all. There's waterfalls that people climb. It's really cool. But the light's not the best right now, so I'm gonna go finish this hike, and then I'm gonna go back to my hotel and get in the hot springs, and I'm gonna go for a good soak. And yeah, I'm happy that I shot this video, and I finally got to hike the entire Ouray perimeter trail. So if you're ever in the area in Southwest Colorado, check it out. It's in the town of Ouray, and I highly recommend it. And my ISO changed again, and I should probably boost it right here. Oh, too bright. Anyway, video's fun. Anyway, thanks for coming along on today's adventure, and bye.